university in the region are still not engaged at the same level they should be and bring this discussion forward. Some of the projects also look better on paper than they look in the real situation. Indonesia is a case of point. The textbook may be made available on the website of the government, but then if the government is still getting profit from selling officially or not officially textbook to the various schools, if the teachers are still getting some corruption or not corruption money from again selling textbook, I mean the issue, the open resources clearly are not in their interest. Yeah, so I think the whole issue of economic interest in the context of privatization, which is occurring in most of this country, in the context of corruption practice and all the rest, cannot just be put aside, because this really influence also the way these resources are going to be used or not used. The third point, I think, is really the issue of how to, the challenge of making context relevant is resources, because I think has been said by some of the donors, I mean, and it's again and again, if something is not relevant to the people using, I mean, we are going back to a new colonization of thinking, which is coming up very strongly through all kind of ways. I mean, so this is open educational resource cannot be that kind of things. There should be another way from Asia to somewhere else, even within Asia. I mean, you could have an Indian colonization or a Filipino colonization for the simple reason that English is the main language that is being used for these resources. Yeah.
Thank you, Rosalia. I think we are running short of time. We have a few minutes. I try to wrap up the session, and would like to thank all the presenters and all the people who interacted. But few things that comes very specific in this session is role of policy, both institutional level at the level of the governments, at the national policy level, and role of agencies like CAL or, for example, UNESCO, that thanks to Dr. Kim's persuasive question asking to all the people. One of the things that has been done is the OER declaration, what's called UNESCO thing. One of the things that happened during the process was that whether it should be a declaration or it should be a recommendation and convention, there is not real agreement at this stage. Therefore, this declaration is a non-binding declaration at this stage. As we all grow towards making educational resources more and more available, there is a possibility of taking at a higher level sometime when the member states have a conducive atmosphere for sharing open educational resources. It might become a recommendation or a convention at a later stage, but I don't think that is going to happen so soon in near future. But that's a long way to go. But I also thank to Rosalia for making this very important point of intervention of colonization, particularly OER, and I would like to remind myself and everyone of us here, OER is here for adaptation and reuse, remix of the educational content, not just reuse from one place to other place, but to translate it in and make it contextualize in your educational institution for your own students and on the stakeholder. So that's our main goal, and within that context, each one of has a role to play, whether at a policy level or otherwise, as Wen has said and many of us here has said. And at this stage, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to facilitate this session, moderate this session, and be with you. And thank you very much, everyone, for your wonderful interaction. Thank you.
Sanjaya, thank you very much for that lovely sharing of your session, and you kept to time. I have a couple of housekeeping announcements. First, importantly, your lunch arrangement. You'll have to go down to floor 1, and what we call the White House, that's the building in front, there is a dining room there, and lunch would be served there as a buffet, I think, and you can exercise the choice as to your dietary preferences. Before you break for lunch, couple of things. For the next session in the afternoon, you may have slide presentations. If you have them, please hand it over or log it into or embed it into the computer in front so that we don't waste time on putting your flash drives or whatever into it. If you can do it, and all presenters should be sitting in the front row so it's easier for you to move in when you're called. The second is we are asking you to sign an indemnity form because we are capturing everything that you say on video. This would go into the web, and we want to make sure that we are not sued by anybody at a future date. So please sign those indemnity forms. Prof. Menon will be sharing that with you. Third, I think we will return here by 2. Do keep to time because it helps. And lastly, this is a plugin. We very modestly started a website called OER Asia. I think that site could benefit from your participation in the community forum as one of its pages. And certainly, I would not say no if UNESCO comes and waives its support for OER Asia, because that currently is the only forum by the community for the community here in this continent. Thank you very much. Enjoy your lunch.